Oh man, that was a brutal bump!
Thank you so much for watching my brutal bump video and for, of course, noticing my newly acquired baldness. I'd like to use this opportunity to speak a little bit about what goes on in my head and, under my baldness when writing songs. Now, it struck me probably a little bit too late that this song probably isn't, ideal, as it's just a long guitar solo, but I use the same kind of principle regardless of what I'm writing. So if you like any of my songs here at YouTube or what I did with Marcus, then you should hopefully be able to learn something out of this. The key word when I write songs is contrasts. that's the main thing I have in my mind when writing a song. So I'm gonna try to demonstrate this by showing you the parts of the song. Harmonically, it's really simple, but it features an important contrast between the C major tonality and the relative minor, which is A minor. Now, in the transition between those chords, you can find some really sweet notes, and basically you can use your ear and just play the C major scale over this progression to find the spots, or you can use your theory knowledge and play the chord notes. We then have a short bridge section which really breaks away and creates a contrast through heavy rhythm guitars, which all of a sudden enter the scene, or at least heavily distorted rhythm guitars. And also the polka kind of thing is, to me, more of a groove, has a groovier feel, whereas this riff is really straightforward rock. No real groove in there. And if you scroll back and listen to that transition, you will notice it creates a very strong effect when I'm going from the polka to this bridge. And I'm just playing a very, something like that, and then I'm just not playing anymore because such a strong contrast with the riff, so that's enough to carry the song into the next part of the verse. So we have another part of the verse, and then we have another bridge, and then comes the chorus. Now this chorus features a very important contrast, because for the first time in this tune, we're actually resting on a chord. We're letting it ring. Now this really isn't very innovative in any way, but if you've had a whole song which is just a constant flow of notes, or just notes and chords non-stop, and then all of a sudden you get that kind of thing where you're hanging on a chord, then that could really mean the world to that song. Now of course you will find that these different song sections, if you just look at them individually and play them individually, they are pretty boring. But when you put them together, it creates a unity, and that's what songwriting is about. It's never about the individual part or even the individual musicians. It's how everything fits together and creates a unity. So I really hope you can use this information to either sit down and write your first tune, or you can maybe grab an old tune of yours which features some great riffs, but you were never able to finish it. You were never able to take those riffs and make a tune out of it. And perhaps all that's needed is for you to sit down and analyze the riffs. Okay, so this first riff is really cool, it's really brutal and heavy and whatnot. And the second riff is also really cool and brutal, but why doesn't it work? Well, maybe you have the answer there, because both riffs are cool and brutal, and you need a riff in between which is soft and gentle. It could be that easy. So basically the idea is to, as with anything, to practice this. When writing songs, the idea is to get as many tools as possible, so that you can sort of get strategic about the writing. And you get those tools by writing song after song, listening back and try to analyze the result, So I wrote a song and now I'm finished with it. I didn't like it, what could be the problem? Okay, that first riff was this and that way, and the other riff was this and that way, and there's not happening a whole lot in between. There's not a lot of tension, there's no contrast or whatever. And you can start analyzing and seeing riffs as building blocks which you can sort of manipulate strategically to create a song and go in a direction where you want it to go. Or where I want it to go. I'm manipulating your brain. Thanks a lot for watching, and I hope these ideas can inspire you. And as always, post your feedback and I'll do my best to get back to you. And before I go, I just want to say that there is also a collaboration going on using this backing track at GMC. So check out the description below the video to find more about that. See you.